Does fall coming around make you miss school, but you're not young enough or rich enough to still be going to school? Well, this is the solution for that. Hey y'all, I actually did a longer video about this, but then I accidentally didn't capture my audio, so I thought maybe I would just do a quick overview of my fall curriculum. So maybe some of you have heard this trend and jumped on it with me, or maybe you haven't heard of it before, but basically the idea of making a personal curriculum for yourself is that you kind of do a lot of learning in life. Sometimes you jump into things and don't necessarily put a lot of structure around it or like give yourself kudos for having done it. And so when I heard about people doing this as part of sort of like the feeling of like back to school and like the great lock-in that some people are talking about, I thought it would be pretty fun to take some of the books I was already planning on reading and activities I was planning on doing and put them in a little schoolish kind of way. And I am also a homeschooler. I homeschool my kids, and they have a lot of fun with this kind of stuff too. So it just makes me feel happy to give myself a little bit of structure around learning I already want to do, and also to give me a little bit of credit for the things. Sometimes I'll read a book and I'll just kind of move on when I get bored or when I've solved my problem, but I don't really, like give myself the pat on the back that like taking a course would have done, where I'd been like, oh, I took a course in parenting, but I didn't take a course in parenting, but I did read 25 books on parenting. So, maybe this would be a fun way to kind of like give myself credit for the things I'm working towards. So these are some of the things that I came up with as part of my fall curriculum. And the one I think I'm the most excited about and focused on is this one, which is the art of hygge. If you haven't heard of it before, hygge is like a Danish word for coziness. It's similar to the German word gemütlich. There's other words like this, but it basically kind of means like comfort and conviviality and coziness. And I really wanted to cultivate that this time of the year. So I got some books from the library, some really awesome ones like Hygge Simplified, the little book of Hygge. You can see some of them here. I'm also going to probably read Equal Rights as part of my efforts to read Terry Pratchett's work this year. I started at the beginning at his first book that he wrote chronologically, and I'm working my way through, which was funny because some people were kind of like, oh, they get better. But I've loved all of them that I've read so far. I hesitated a little bit around Equal Rights over this summer because it has some gendered themes, and I was a little bit worried that a book from the 80s might be a little bit stressful to read about, but I'm going to do it. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully it will be a nice addition to my hygge practice in the fall here. And I think so these are some of the things I want to consume as part of that, but I'm also going to try to do some kind of cooking, eating, drinking, or field tripping for each course. And so for this one, my husband has started making me some pumpkin lattes, and I think I want to try to find a soup that I can eat. A lot of soups I can't eat because of my current chronic illness that I'm struggling with, and I'm just going to do the best that I can. But I'd like to find one that would work. And then I think I'd like to create some things. So I think I want to do some more work in paper, like sketchbooks, leaf rubbings, and stuff like that. Try to give myself a specific kind of like hygge ritual. And I think I'll take some notes on these books. Another one of the courses that I'd like to focus on, and this one is the most focused on my writing business aspects, is sort of a positive productivity course. As a career of an author now, I've been writing for about 10 years and, well, publishing for about 10 years. I've been writing for a lot longer than that. And in the publishing industry, I mean, there's always ups and downs. And I feel like as of the last 5 years, there's been a lot more downs than ups for me personally. And I think maintaining a positive mindset is really important and also really hard. And so I think something that's been a real godsend to me is HB90, which is run by Sarah Cannon. This is her page for her course, that boot camp course that you can do, and it helps you sort of plan a small amount of stuff to work on. And I'm really excited to work on that this semester and make that part of my positive productivity. It really helps me not kind of spiral. And then I've also got a copy of Feel Good Productivity by Ali Abdaal from the library, and I think that will be a fun thing to dip into. So as part of what I want to do is I want to read those things, take part in that course. And then for HB90, I have to make my plan for Q4, as well as make a mood board for sort of my life vision, which is part of the course. And I usually do every quarter, even though it doesn't really change that much, but it's good. It's helpful to kind of like recenter oneself on one's goals. And then for feel good productivity, I will take some notes and I'll try to pick one thing that I could apply to either my business or day-to-day writing practice. Yeah, so I'm really excited about kind of leveling up my business in that area. And I won't go into too much detail in the other ones because a lot of them are just sort of more personal and fun, cozy, hygge stuff for me. But I developed my chronic illness in fall of last year, and I don't really know what it is yet, so I've got to be kind of vague about it. But I really felt like I missed fall. There was a lot of things that I love about my favorite season that I didn't get to appreciate. So here I am going to work on doing some things to intentionally enjoy fall and trying to make them things that aren't necessarily things that cost money. I think I love to buy fall things, and the truth is my house is full of stuff. I do not need anything else. I already have lots of wonderful fall things. So I am going to focus on playing some fall background music. I'm going to try to read Frankenstein, which I've never read before. Maybe an Agatha Christie book that some folks recommended, and maybe watch a vampire movie when we get closer to October. I also have some lists of foods here and drinks that I want to have. Go to an orchard. We have lots of wonderful orchards in Pennsylvania that I adore. I'm hoping I'm strong enough to go on a fall hike. I'm not sure that I really will be, but I think it's worth a shot. The fall leaves in Pennsylvania in October and November and even September are quite wonderful. They're already starting to change. So, and also I think I need to do some things. So I got to be more intentional about getting those scarves and boots out, although it's still 80 here. So apparently not yet. I'd love to do some Halloween decorating, maybe a Halloween D&D one shot would be nice. So these are some of the things I'm thinking about just in terms of personal enjoyment of life. And these are the kind of things I find feed back into your writing. Fall has been a big element of a lot of my books. And I think that you have to live your life. You have to know things in life and experience things and live a zesty, inspired experience. And that helps us have things to write about. I'm also going to do a little bit of witchy things, and I really like to do it not in terms of thinking that they somehow change the world in a supernatural way, but I like using this sort of things around witchiness in a sassy way, which is stands for science seeking skeptics and atheist witches, and I consider myself science seeking, but I think I basically like to play around with some of these as sort of like a personal bringing fantasy into my own life, right? I could mop the floor with a bucket of water, or I could sprinkle some lavender and say, I hope I have a wonderful September. And that feels more exciting and more fun. And so it's not necessarily supernatural, but it's sort of like bringing a little bit of fantasy into life. And I also really like how the wheel of the year kind of shows the changes of time and really connects with nature. And I like celebrating some of those holidays. So we have Mabon coming up to celebrate fall that I'm going to try to look for something to do for. And then I have one more, which was just I really want to become a better teacher. I made this a mini course, but then I have like 6 things I wanted to read. I don't know, maybe I won't actually be able to finish all of these, I think is my concern. But I am very excited to read Teach Like Finland and Teach Like a Pirate. And I'm very excited about this YouTube channel that will help me I think it's been giving me some good inspiration and tips in terms of how to be a teacher that sort of catches students off guard or inspires them to be more active in their learning, and just try to level up my game, since this is one of the things I spend a lot of time doing with my family and sometimes with other people's kids. So yeah, so I don't have anything specifically here about learning to write because I am not necessarily in a phase where I'm super focused on many different parts of the craft. I think that in my perfect world, I would always be learning a little bit of craft stuff, but I think that part of learning craft is practice. And so I think that reading books about craft can be a way to not write. And right now, I want to really focus on writing. So I have separate from this writing goals that I don't consider part of a fun little personal curriculum. I am getting the words in and making them happen. I've actually already met my goal for the month. It's only the 19th. So this book is pouring out of me, which is just such a great feeling. And I think part of that is because I have been filling the well more and focusing on making sure that by the time I sit down at my computer, I have everything. My brain is like ready to rock as opposed to being tired and like kind of needing to eat, but wanting to try to do something, sometimes getting your needs met first can really help you actually be productive. So yes, so these are some of the fun things I'm planning to do for fall, and for this little fall curriculum trend. So I just thought I'd share and see if it inspired anybody else. And I hope you have a great fall, and I hope you have some things you're learning. Let me know what you're learning about this weekend in the comments. And happy fall.